Hello, everybody, and welcome back. If you are listening on Apple, iTunes, or Spotify, you are listening to the hashtag Grounded in Glam, Modern Mystics, and Motherhood podcast. And if you are watching this, you are watching this on my YouTube channel, Erin the Urban Mermaid. My name is Erin. I go by Erin the Urban Mermaid, which is also my business name. And I'm a mother, writer, intuitive empath, fifth dimensional soul guide. Esoteric healer, and spiritual business coach. I'm the creator of the Grounded and Glam series, in which I host workshops and healing. And I have a monthly membership program where I guide my fellow empaths and light workers on their personal development and spiritual journeys so that they may heal and unlearn all of their conditioning and shine their beautiful lights back into this world as leaders of the new earth. I also do intuitive and psychic tarot and birth chart readings. So thank you so much for joining, everyone. Please excuse the background noise. I have my kids are awake and going a little crazy. But I'd like to introduce my second guest here on the podcast and on my YouTube channel. Her name is Aga Wilson, and she is the owner and founder of Urban Witches Beauty. She's a light worker, a humanitarian, and a health and beauty advocate. So I met Aga about, I want to say 2 years ago on Instagram. We kind of found each other and we started talking. And as it turns out, she was living in the time in Brooklyn, which is where I'm from. And we kept in touch throughout the year. And this was not 2020, but 2019. I went back to visit my family. She and I got a chance to meet up in person. And, you know, we've just always stayed in touch then. We have a lot in common. And so it's really great to have you here on the podcast and YouTube channel. So welcome.
Thank you, Erin. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Okay, so why don't I start off with just a couple little icebreaker questions so that everyone could get to know you a little bit better. How's that sound?
Yes, perfect.
Good, perfect. Okay, so what is your sun, moon, and rising sign?
So my rising is Aries,
Mm-hmm.
and my sun and moon are both Taurus. And
Oh,
then my the one that I am is Taurus as well. So
right. That's what you relate to most.
well, yeah, but the Aries is very strong. My rising is very, very strong. So
Mm-hmm.
I always read both because I
Oh,
know
okay.
that there's a lot of goodies there, and it's usually more precise. But yeah, I definitely have both.
Okay, cool. All right. Do you have a favorite crystal or a favorite crystal of the moment? I know that's an answer that can change.
Yeah, definitely the changes. I think right now I love Labradorite.
Oh, nice.
Um, so it's my go-to right now because it does have a great connection between the divine and the spirit world. So I'm kind of there right now. And then
Yeah.
of course rose quartz because I
Hmm.
always love the love.
I know. I think that that's like my OG favorite. Like it'll always be a favorite
Yeah,
for
totally.
sure. And how about, do you have any particularly favorite tarot or oracle decks?
So right now, my favorite is actually Rebecca Campbell. Is it
Which,
the Starseed deck?
oh yeah, her second one. I like that one
Yeah,
too. Nice.
that's my favorite right now. But I tend to switch those two. But yes,
Mhm.
for right now, I really enjoy that one, and it's like so on point with all the Starseed stuff
Right.
that's happening around us right now. So I just love having it
Yeah.
outside.
Her decks are always really powerful, and the images in them too are, I mean, they're beautiful.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to hear, and I'd like everyone else to hear a little bit more just about your own spiritual journey, wellness journey, motherhood journey. Yeah, let's hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's so I think that so when I was younger, my mom was actually like very much into Tibetan Buddhism, and she was also supporting, an organization back in Sweden, and she traveled over there, and I think that's how she came in contact with that whole thing. So she started yoga and all of those things back in the day
Mhm.
when I was like so not into that, and I was laughing at her. I remember until one day, like I tested out yoga, and then like
Mhm.
step by step, I started moving into those directions, and
Yoga is such a gateway.
isn't it? It was really, and I remember literally, I was like, I'm like, Mom, yoga is for old people. Like, I'm not gonna go to yoga. I like my workout things,
Right, right.
So so that was like the first part of it. And then I had a pretty spiritual boyfriend at one point, and he was doing like he was regressing people into past lives. So
Oh.
that was like my first big encounter with past lives. And I remember I read the book by Michael Newton called The Journey of Souls.
Mhm.
And that book literally, I mean, I dove so deep, and
Mhm.
I just like reading that book, I just knew that this was true, that
Mhm.
like that's what it was. And I remember I felt like someone pulled the carpet under my feet, because it took me like 3 weeks to even process this book. It was so huge for me, because
Mhm.
I never really believed in God when I was smaller, and
Right.
that magic is kind of taken away from us when we were kids, right?
I
So
agree.
uh, I just, yeah, I was just like, I was so shocked, and but I realized this is it. I think I read it twice, and then after that, like my real deep journey started.
Okay.
So and then obviously it continued. I did more. I dove deeper, and especially in New York, where, as you know, there's a lot of light workers, a lot of people like
Mhm.
us. So I found a great community with like-minded people, and that
Mhm.
also made me evolve a lot. And then of course motherhood. I mean,
Yeah.
motherhood is probably like one of the most spiritual journeys you can ever imagine.
Oh, I no
uh,
one warned you about that. No one tells you that.
but at the same time, also like my approach is, I really want, so I mean, I know we talked about this, but he's also a star seed, and he's
Mm.
definitely a rainbow,
Mhm.
from what I have learned. And also I was shown so many signs even when I was pregnant that he
Right.
was. So for me also, like that included me starting to read up about this, because I really wanted to do the right thing, because
Mhm.
these kids are, they don't fit in the normal box.
Right.
And it's very important just to support them, and kind of try
Mhm.
to figure out, I mean, we are starseeds, so we kind of know that, but we've also lived, a
Well, we've
very,
been conditioned,
yeah, exactly.
we're adults now. We probably all had these gifts as kids, and at some point you lose that. And it's to no one's fault. It really is not, it's the environment you're in. I mean, I don't know how. I know Europe is very different than New York, obviously. So I feel like it might be a little bit more supportive there. Where I grew up in Brooklyn, no.
No, no, not here either. I mean, I
Really.
grew up in Sweden, and Sweden is
Mhm.
definitely not a spiritual country in that sense. I mean,
Okay.
it's we had the the Protestant church, so they're
Okay.
very much like, yeah.
Okay.
Plus, people are, I mean, they're very close to nature, so I call that spirituality in a sense
Oh,
anyway.
absolutely.
And it's a meditation for them, and they're extremely close to nature. But when it comes to those things, they start to come about a little
Yeah.
bit. But I will tell you, it's much harder to meet like-minded people here. I've managed
Really.
this time, but through my whole life, I felt very, very lonely. I
Mhm.
felt like I was very different. I felt like I was lonely. I felt like I didn't belong.
Yeah,
And I
same.
think many of us did that, felt that
Right.
way. So for my kid, I think it's just very important to be conscious, and we
Yeah. Of
make mistakes. We do, obviously, like,
course.
and sometimes you're just
It's
like, oh
not
my God.
easy. It's not easy. People,
No,
when you talk about it and you're like, "Oh, a rainbow child who's spiritual," it is amazing and it sounds amazing, but it's not always easy to be a parent to a child like this, especially after, you know, later in life if you come into your gifts then and you're both learning together. It's not
yeah.
easy.
I mean, they're definitely your greatest teachers. Oh my
Oh,
God.
yes.
Like, they
Absolutely.
reflect everything that you
Mhm.
project on them. So, I mean, I am learning from him, and I'm so grateful,
Mhm.
to I'm
Absolutely.
learning so much. But yeah, it makes you think a lot, because I think, we're at that point where, you know, I I don't like what society has taught us and how it conditioned us before. So I just
Right.
like I'm trying to, maneuver so I don't put
Right.
him in the same situation
Right.
because I want him to be more aware. Like my
Hmm.
consciousness and awareness is at that
Right.
level now where I am able to make my own decisions in a completely different way. And
Right.
yeah, it's going to be interesting, but I
It's
think,
something I always say that I think you'll relate to with this is, we can be in this higher consciousness, we could be in 5D, we could be in 6D, all this every day. But at the end of the day, we also do have to live on Earth, we have to live in the 3D
yeah,
world, and we're
it's
raising our
hard. It's
kids
hard
here.
sometimes.
So finding that balance is very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now you're also you're a health and wellness and beauty advocate. You own your own beautiful all natural skincare line. Can you tell me a little bit about your wellness journey too? Are you still vegan? I'd love to hear about all of that.
Yeah. So, so it's all ever changing, right? But
Mhm.
so my health journey, I mean, I've always been, I think, very aware of eating healthy, just in
Mhm.
general. Very early on in my life, I stopped eating red meat,
Mhm.
also because I'm an animal lover,
Mhm.
and not only that, but I think, the moral part of it, the way we treat animals is just absolutely horrific,
I
and
agree.
the stress we put, like their
Mhm.
stress we put into our bodies. I just
Yeah.
think the energy is very, very, very bad. But then again, I have friends.
Mhm.
I have a friend who owns a farm, a huge farm, and they have their own animals on that farm.
Mhm.
Those animals are treated with respect. And even when they take milk after the baby cow. So, they
Okay.
never take before. They let the baby cows drink.
Okay.
They will separate them from the mothers. And
Okay.
then, even the killing becomes like it's made with love and respect and
Right.
gratitude to Mama Earth.
Right.
And I still, haven't figured it out because I feel like there has never been a civilization on earth not being completely vegan. We've had vegetarians,
Mhm.
in India and I mean big
Right.
parts of the world,
Right.
but never that. So, I've been vegan now for 5 years, but then like I get a craving or if I need like to eat something,
Mhm.
I go for it. So I would
Okay.
say like 99.9, but also it's hard because, for children, if when I
It
read the
is.
studies about them growing and needing certain type of vitamins and things like that, there are certain things that are hard, including like vitamin A,
Mhm.
uh, vitamin what is it, A, and then omega-3 acids, fatty
Yeah.
acids, because the way the body metabolite, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just hard. So it's a very tough journey, but I do listen to my body. I think that's the most
Mhm.
important thing. And I also, if my son wants to try something, I will never tell him not.
Okay.
I think eventually, if we started living like my friend does at the
Mhm.
farm,
Mhm.
because I do believe that some people may not even ever be healthy without meat.
Right.
There's different. I
Right.
mean, there's so many theories. We just don't know. Like we have too
Right.
little research. There's
Yeah.
too little science made on that, and
Mhm.
obviously, it's not easy. It's not hard to do. It just
Right.
has to be done.
Right.
So.
So you
I,
consider yourself more of like an intuitive eater if it feels good?
Yeah, and I would say I'm like 99.9% vegan because even when I eat, like if there's eggs in something, it's
Okay.
when
Yeah.
I travel, and
Right.
I go to people's houses and I don't want
Right.
to make like a big deal because
Right. Right. Right.
vegetarian is good enough.
Yeah.
If I feel like having cheese like once a year, I will do that because when I deprive myself, then I can't. I don't feel good,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm also an addictive personality, so
Mhm.
if I tell myself never, then that doesn't work with me.
Right. Right.
And but I and like when I come back to Sweden, there is this shrimp sandwich that I just cannot resist. So
But
it's been
you're a
like a
better
yearly
person.
thing.
You're a better person if you eat it than if you deny yourself,
Yeah,
right?
but I feel like my body needs it sometimes. I had like
Yeah.
a thing a few months ago. I had this crazy craving for salmon, but at the
Mhm.
end, like I didn't listen to my body because I was just like, I just can't eat
Mhm.
salmon. I just can't.
Okay.
But at the same time, maybe I should have, because again, like your body is telling you
Right. Right.
something.
For
And my
sure.
son is extremely intuitive. I mean,
Mhm.
and children are, they are
Yeah.
even more than we are, because they're still in touch with their divine self much more than we are.
Oh
But
yeah.
he's incredible. Like, if he has a stomach ache or diarrhea, like he'll just come to me and he's like, Mom, I want blueberries. And I know that blueberries actually stop diarrhea, so
Yeah.
he knows exactly what his body needs without me telling. And that is incredible, I feel.
Yeah, that is. That's also good to know about blueberries.
There are
Okay.
those things, yeah.
Yeah.
But my wellness journey, or beauty and all of that stuff, I've always been healthy, as I said, but I think when
Mhm.
I got pregnant, I really dove into everything, because
Right.
then, you start checking everything on
Yeah. Yeah.
on the
Uh,
what do you call it,
On the internet, right?
yeah, and like every
Yeah.
ingredient,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
ingredients list, and the more you read, the more you learn. So at
Yeah.
one point, and I think I was still pregnant when I did this, but I just detoxified my whole house. I mean, like
Mhm.
everything from detergents to pots and pans to,
Yeah.
filtered water to only organic food, and my hair care,
Right. I don't
and
think
I
people
have,
realize what a difference that makes.
it definitely does. It definitely does. Like literally everything. I took
Mhm.
everything out, and
Mhm.
then, but I always had like kind of a hard time to find, like really good skincare products. And then
Mhm.
simultaneously, I mean, this happened some years earlier. My mom started taking courses in like cosmetics and
Mhm.
herbal herbalist
Okay.
education. So she started kind of making creams at home.
Mhm.
In the beginning, I was like, oh, okay, they're fine,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
then they started getting so good,
Yeah.
that I was able to replace my really expensive ones that were,
Mhm.
um, you know, not full of chemicals to
Right.
her. So I still feel like I got the same. And yeah, then we talked, and I am a Taurus. Taurus
Mhm.
loves, luxury and the
Yeah.
best of everything.
Absolutely.
So I had to just make something that I would make for myself, which was the best of all ingredients, and they all
Mhm.
have to be, organic, come from
Mhm.
Europe, or best quality, and
Right.
obviously the best essential oils inside, because that's the
Mhm.
way I have to do it.
Right. Well, and
And
European standards of beauty is much higher than here in the States.
yeah, I mean, we just got back here and we're launching in Europe. So
Mhm.
for us, like there are no criteria really in the
Right.
US to make your own products, but here you have to lab test everything. It has to go
Right.
through.
Right.
It's good because now we can also say that it's all lab tested, and it
Right.
went through all of the steps in order to be sold.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's much, the quality is obviously
Yeah.
much higher.
Yeah. Okay, so this let's get into what I really brought you on here for today. So when I met up with you for that time in Brooklyn last year, you and I were talking, we were talking about like what was going on, current state of the world, and now this is pre pandemic and all of that, like 6 months prior to.
Yeah.
And you asked me if I was a witch, and I was like, I don't think so. And like without trying to be insulting or whatever. And I said, well, what is a witch? What do you define as a witch? Because right then and there, I knew whatever America was pumping into our brains was obviously wrong. And so many of the people that I connect with, they label themselves this. I just am not one for labeling in general. So, and you told me very simply, um, a witch is someone who believes the laws of nature over the laws of man. And I sat there and thought about it. I said, okay, yeah, then I'm a witch. But I feel that, like I said, there's a stigma attached to the word. Whether it's from it being Americanized, and you see like the way media projects stuff, how TV is, or how commercialized things are. Like you look at Halloween, it's nowhere near like what the origins of Halloween is really about. So I want to hear a little bit more about, you know, um, your version of being a witch and what it means to you, and how you feel about the stigma, where you think this stigma kind of came from, and if you can maybe shed a little light and help clear this up a little
Yes. Thanks, Erin. So
bit.
so funny because it took me a long time to like, just get into the bottom and realize, who
Mhm.
I am, what I came here to do,
Mhm.
and why this and why that. And
Mhm.
I mean, I think when I met you, I was still like, kind of going through all of that stuff and
Okay.
didn't know like where everything was fitting. But today I do know. So as you know, and I know, and we talked about that in the beginning of the show. So I
Mhm.
am a light worker and I am a star seed.
Right.
Uh,
And really
so
quickly, do you mind just explaining to everyone what that is in case people aren't privy to this information?
so light work. I mean, star seeds are basically people being born here from other universes or planets
Mhm.
or anything like that, to help and to bring our planet back to a balance of
Mhm.
beauty and peace and unity. Unity
Right.
is probably the most important part of it.
Right.
Um, and I believe, I don't know if they separate at all,
Right.
but light workers are obviously people working with light,
Mhm.
and I would, I mean, a lot of star seeds are definitely working with light. We are working with light and love,
Mhm.
information and just like bringing back the light to
Okay.
our, um so that's what we are. And I think, I realized also a few years ago that I've definitely been, um, in my past life several times. I've been one of those women,
Mhm.
that was a healer,
Mhm.
worked with herbs and probably was burned or something like
Right.
that. I can deeply feel that. And the horrible part was that it was really all women, women that spoke up because
Right.
they spoke against, whatever the Catholic Church was saying.
Right.
It was midwives. It was women that were healers and working with herbs. It was women,
Mhm.
working with nature. So there were many, many, many women that were killed for and accused of being witches. and
Witches.
and this comes from the Catholic Church that was trying to actually, I mean, they were trying to implement the new type of medicine
Mhm.
that was that was built on the patriarchal system, of course. So the men were taking over that
Mhm.
sphere, and
Look where
this
we
is
are now. Just kidding.
so these women were just silenced, and to
Right.
me, it was a huge gender side,
Mhm.
and I am a humanitarian. I worked for human rights in the UN for many years as well in the nonprofit sector. So
Right.
for me, it was just like wow, and I don't know why. I mean, I guess people that come from the Christian tradition have
Mhm.
been like fed, this information
Yeah.
very that this is something bad, but to me, it's something beautiful. It's really people respecting nature and working with
Mhm.
nature. Yes, there are bad apples everywhere in
Of
every
course.
religion
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
and in every, so yeah, there are people that are using magic and the tools, that are out there for bad things, but there are people who use it for good.
Of course.
So I am, I just, and that's not it. I mean, I've probably been that, but I've been many other things as well. I
Mhm.
had my medium told me once,
Mhm.
she said, oh, I see fairy, you've been a fairy, and it's so funny because where I'm from, which is
Mhm.
Sweden, grew
Mhm.
up with trolls and witches and fairies and
Yeah,
and like
I remember you telling me
gnomes.
that.
And all our stories were based on that because Europe was all pagan and
Right.
all traditions, all holidays really come from the pagan tradition.
Right. Right.
And they here it's not a taboo at all. It's like it's
Right.
what we grew up with. So
Right.
um, I was a little bit shocked actually when I came to the US that it's such a you
Yeah.
know negative word there
Right.
because I've never here if you tell someone, oh, my company's name is Urban Witches, they're like, oh cool, that's a cool name.
Right. Right.
And I had like some people tell me in the US, oh, are you really going to use that name because it might throw some people off? But I'm a rebel, and even if I practice probably everything from all around the world just because I've been in many lives in many places. I
Yeah.
probably been in the Tibetan Buddhism as well because I
Mhm.
had some really crazy experiences when I was at the Dalai Lama's teachings.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, just like insane. I couldn't stop
Mhm.
crying when I
Right.
saw him.
Right.
It was like pouring. So I go to this Buddhist retreat where I speak to the lamas, and I told
Mhm.
them that. They're like, "Oh, there's definitely connection there." So, I
Mhm.
mean, for old souls, we've been around and we've been so
Yeah.
many things. I don't like to put myself in the box. I know I've been a witch, or I
Yeah.
call them because they are wise women.
Right.
Um, and
They're
actually,
the
witch,
yeah, they're
name
the
witch,
healers, the medicine women. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
actually, the word witch means the
Mhm.
wise one,
Okay.
and so that is the meaning of the word.
Okay.
Um, so that it's like the same as shamans, or someone the
Yeah.
wiser people in the community that used to help others.
Right.
It's all about
Right.
others.
So, yeah, I think that especially in the US, because things are just so commercialized, I guess it's really lost, like so many other things, it's lost its true meaning, it's lost like its heritage or whatever else. I guess where you are in Europe, it's just a little bit more normal. I think it is becoming a little bit more normal, as I feel spirituality and stuff is getting a little bit trendy. But if it means that people are more accepting and understanding of what it is, then I think that's great. Um, okay. So the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about today is, and this is something you and I talk about a lot, is we know that the world and Mama Gaia is going through her own tower moment, ascension moment. Just things are being revealed, things are coming out of shadows, and we're changing the way things were to the way that they will be. And us light workers and star seeds, we're here for a reason. We're here to help Mama Gaia on her ascension, and we're here to help the people here who want to be helped on their ascensions as well. So, why don't you tell me a little bit, your thoughts about what's going on, your role here right now, how you feel like all of this stuff is fitting in, and just your perspective or your take on all of it.
Oh my, that's like a big question. But no, I mean, I truly I feel, and I'm very happy about the fact that we are moving into the Aquarian um,
Hmm. Age.
age, and yeah, that things are definitely shifting, and I think we all have been very what would you call it, like involved in this for the past. I mean, the past 2 months have just been pretty nuts for
Right.
us, because for me it meant just like completely withdrawing and going inwards, and meditating, and like finding that peace and holding the frequency of love and light, because
Right.
going through all of this was in the portals and everything that was happening
Hmm.
with the new moon and the eclipse, and
Hmm.
then
Yeah.
the solstice. So but I do feel a change in the air, and I'm
Hmm.
very excited. I feel the most important part, even if there's a spiritual side to it, is just for us to hold that frequency of love and light, and
Hmm.
happiness, and lightness, and
Hmm.
just inspire others through that. I think holding that in itself helps, because
Yeah.
even if you're in a room full of people, they will feel that. And I think for everyone, it's just about, for me, it's been like shedding layers, and getting rid of
Hmm.
everything from my past, and just letting go, and of course the work will remain forever. So it's not done just because of this,
Right.
but I feel we're really shifting, and I feel that it's time for humanity to take that step into
Hmm.
living in a world where we have complete control over our own bodies,
Hmm.
bodily sovereignty,
Hmm.
human rights, for everyone to be able to decide what's best for them.
Hmm.
And I think that's very important. I think it's important for people to also stop judging each other, because it's something I've worked on very hard for the last couple of years. And I'm not perfect, neither is anyone else, but I feel that we have to just accept that just because we think something, it doesn't mean that we can force it on someone else. I
Yeah.
mean, whether it's whatever it is, whether it's a medical procedure, whether it's
Hmm.
abortion, whether it's
Hmm.
circumcision. I mean, whatever it is,
Right.
it's just my body is my body.
Yeah.
And there are no exceptions, like we have to
Right.
come together united on
Right.
those issues. And I feel it's hard because again, we've been conditioned and manipulated into being divided. So
Yes.
that's going to be the hard work now for all of us.
Right. Right.
The
And
big step.
now, what do you feel about, I mean, there are people unwilling to change and unwilling to make the shifts. Many of them probably because they don't even know this is existing. You know, they see the surface level of what's going on. Of there's a global pandemic and um, whatever else they're throwing out there at us. So, what do you what do you feel? Not what's going to happen to them. I mean, what do you see like a split in consciousness happening, like, or how do you see that, like, how do you see these people who aren't going to ascend, like what are we going to do with them?
We'll just lock them up somewhere. No, I'm joking.
Right.
That's exactly what we're not doing. No, but I think that I think that their time will come eventually. I think that we will just maybe separate
Hmm.
for now.
Yeah.
Uh, 'Cause, I mean, this. Whatever vibration I have, I will
Hmm.
attract the same vibration to
Yeah.
me. So you and I will not experience those people
Right.
anymore, but they will experience each other. So I think, for a long time there will be like a split,
Hmm.
and maybe there will just be like different parts where people gather. I don't know how
Hmm.
that's going to happen, but I just feel like they will get there eventually, but it's just going to have to happen at their pace. And that's the other thing, not to ever judge people by their pace, because everyone is here for their own, with their own mission, for their
Right.
own cause, or there's a reason they are here right now too. And we were young souls once, right? So we also had to take that journey and learn.
Right.
So we kind of have to still send them the love and the light, and care for them. And
Hmm.
it's not all love and light. This is also a big, what do you say, like a big example of that it's never going to be perfect. There's never just going to be love and light. I mean,
Of course
we
not.
do shadow work, and there's a lot of dark too, and darkness is not necessarily a bad thing, like we talk
It's
about that.
not. In fact, you cannot have the light without the dark at the end of the
Yeah.
day, right? So
Yeah.
that's what, what I when I say love and light to people, I do get a lot of people who say like, "Oh, that's the fluffy side of spirituality." And I'm like, "No, I can say love and light and mean it and wish that to people because I've
Yeah.
done my shadow work, and I continue to do it."
Yeah. I agree. And just because they say love and light doesn't mean that you're never in darkness. I mean, I
No.
don't understand that part really, because that doesn't mean that. It just means that, right. I mean, if I want to send you love and light, that's just a beautiful thing for you to
Right,
receive.
right.
And I am in that frequency. Obviously, when I do my shadow work and I'm pissed or sad or
Yeah.
angry, I sit and I let it happen, and I watch it, and I'm grateful for it too, because it's trying to show me something. It is an opportunity
Absolutely.
for growth and an opportunity.
Absolutely.
So we all have that, but I mean, I'm not going to go online and tell everyone like, "Hi, I'm like super pissed now and I hate the world,"
Right, right.
because I mean, at the same time, of course, like I do talk about my hard stuff, but that's probably afterwards when I went through it and I kind of realized what the lesson is and all of that stuff.
Right.
And it is important to share, but you also want to spread that love and light.
Yeah.
Yeah, silly, because in a way, like the words have been like so abused almost,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I
they
agree.
are beautiful, and it means something.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So do you have anything else you wanna just add about the ascension process with Mama Gaia? Do you have any words of wisdom maybe for baby light workers or people just coming into all of this? You're a very wise person. This is when I remember after I met you in person and um I was on the phone with Ryan because he wasn't there for that part of the trip, and I was like, I met my friend, and I had told him about you, and I'm like, like, she's legit, like, she's been around before. She knows what's up. And he was like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah, so I think, I think that, it's we have a God, I've been in Sweden too long. I forget my English. Um, but I wanted to find a different word than mission, but I can still
Okay,
use mission in making myself
okay,
understood. But to heal our planet right now,
right.
and that mission is a huge mission, and it's our job to do that, because
Mhm.
I think we've seen enough of this world as it is today, and it's not
Yeah,
working. Too
right.
many suffering in our world, and we need to move away from that. And I think the worst thing is to judge others, and then
Mhm,
for not doing enough,
mhm.
because we all have our own path, and it takes time. It's like the same thing. If I decide tomorrow that I'm going to go plastic free, I'm not going to be able to get rid of every single plastic thing I have at home.
Yeah,
I will get rid of one at a time, and it costs a lot of money. You have
yeah,
to replace it with something new, so it can take years. And I see like people jumping on each other, or like everyone has to be able to decide for themselves. I think that's important to work on, and then and that everyone has their own pace in life, and judging is not going to help. Like
mhm,
we only help others through inspiration, and if someone gets inspired by you, they're going to maybe want to make that change. And I think that's important. And I think I used to also be there, to judge others. And I
mhm.
still do, because I'm human, but now
Right,
I'm at least aware of it. So I'm like, okay, oops, like, did I do that again?
right, right.
That, what did I just say in my head?
Mhm,
But I think that's the hardest job. And I think that is the one that will bring us to unity. That, whether you voted for this party or that party, everyone has a story. And I remember I had a friend that I almost, when I found out who she voted for, I was so pissed that I almost like destroyed our relationship. And she was so sad. She's like, "But you know me." And the funny thing is, I was younger and stupider. Now
yeah,
I know, but like today
right,
I would have said, I don't fucking care who you
right,
voted for. I
right.
am your friend no matter what.
Doesn't matter anyway who you voted for. Said it doesn't
But
matter anyway who you vote for.
exactly, that too, of course. Um, but then I was still like in that,
Right, right,
in
right.
so I just learned that everyone has their story. There's a reason why they do what they do, and it's usually because they are scared, or they don't know
Yeah,
about other realities, or they have been fed a lot of information that is not correct, so
right,
manipulated, brainwashed. So
right.
I think respect for others and understanding, and then also never to be too hard on yourself, because all of us have our
Mhm.
own pace. All
Yeah,
of us have our own journey, and you
right,
should never judge anyone else
right.
with jealousy, or that you are not fast enough, or this and that, because
Mhm.
the universe has a plan for you, and your plan is unique. No one else is going to
Yeah,
steal it.
very important to remember that. I also feel the more we work on ourselves, that is what's helping. That is what's raising the vibration. Because I mean, I could, do all the Reiki on someone else, and I can, read them and this and that. But at the end of the day, if they're not putting the work in on themselves, we're not going to ascend. You're responsible for yourself at the end of the day. And that is what's going to raise the vibration.
I 100% agree with you. It's just to focus on yourself. You are the only person that can make this change. And the funny thing is, when you raise the vibration in here, then
Mhm.
everything around you will be that vibration.
Absolutely.
And I have worked for many years to raise it, and gone through like different levels. And it's so amazing, because when you get up to the levels where you're, and I used to be a very angry person.
Mhm.
I had a pretty hard childhood. I was, abandoned. And I mean, abandoned, but my father moved to another
Mhm.
country when I was very small. So
Mhm.
um, I've had, and I was so angry as a teenager. I was so angry when I was younger. But the rewards when you get to this side, and you
Right.
feel happiness, because
Right.
I was probably angry, like I would say maybe 85% of the time, and
Right.
now I'm like the opposite. I'm happy 85% of the time,
Right.
peaceful. So the rewards are amazing, because when you are here, you just realize like how easy life can be, and
Right.
how good it could be.
Absolutely. Especially if you just trust, right?
Trust the process of the universe.
Absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit about your skincare line really quick before I let you go. So as I mentioned earlier, Aga owns and created her own natural skincare line. It's called Urban Witches Beauty. I have some of this stuff here. Just it's funny you mentioned that you're a double Taurus and like you love the luxury and Taurus are all about the aesthetics and the beauty of things. I can't tell you how many Libra and Taurus friends I have that are like estheticians, jewelry makers, just like so fashionable because they're ruled by Venus, who is the goddess of all of this stuff. So I do have some of your stuff right here that I just wanted to show everyone who's tuning in on the YouTube channel. This is the most luxe of products I've ever tried. This is your Sacred Rose Deep Hydration Face Cream. And this is absolutely beautiful. It smells amazing. I've always I've struggled with my skin my whole life, and now I'm at a point where it's very dry, and because of the weather in California right now, it's very dry. But I've always been scared to put stuff that's like heavy on my face because it would break out, and this stuff is works like a charm. It's absolutely beautiful. The other one that I love from your line, I have it here, is your anti-aging eye serum. I'm a sucker for a good eye serum. I'm lucky I don't have like dark circles, but I do have matching luggage from the lack of sleep. And this is one of the most beautiful products. And then I also have here your Nature's DNA face serum, and I have your Sun Kiss collagen booster. So as I just want everyone to see how beautiful the product is. I don't want to catch the light, so it'll glare. Just very beautifully made. Very, very goddessy, not just witchy, but goddessy here, not Venus. Um, so why don't you just tell us a little bit about your line and some of your products and just, how you distribute them and stuff like that.
Wow. I have to get better at that too. But yeah, so I mean, I think, when my mom and I sat down and created this stuff together, we really went in for not only that it's supposed to do something to your face, beautiful stuff to your face, but also the essential oils that we use are, have a huge effect because you kind of inhale them all day long. As you
Okay.
know, rose oil, for example, is one of the highest vibrational oils
Oh
out there.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
on the frequency of love. So 320, is it gigahertz or something like that? I don't remember exactly like what, but yes. So, and it's also very healing, to the heart chakra. It's energizing. So, that's my absolute favorite. And rose oil is absolutely the most expensive one out there.
Oh, I know. Isn't it? I think in general, I think I read one time that it takes like 90 pounds of rose petals to make less than an ounce of rose oil.
Yeah. And the Bulgarian one is like, the absolutely best one, but it's amazing for your skin. It's been used for centuries. I mean, it's just like, it's and when when you smell that, rose and love all day long, it definitely affects you on a, deeper level.
Right. So
Same
it's
thing.
not just wellness brand, it's like a conscious brand too.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the whole thought, because it's so beautiful because I mean, I have like gone in also to experts, that are only working with essential oils, but they are so healing on, on a molecular level. It's like it's really, really, so much more than just a face cream. So we kind of have a concept that's more, holistic, or more, goes deeper than that. Same thing with Nature's DNA, which is the serum for the face. That one has like myrrh, vanilla, frankincense, and sandalwood. Very calming, so I love to put it on at night.
Okay.
Because like it makes you relax and like you want to kind of sleep.
Right.
So yeah, so there's like there's much more thought behind it. And then our packaging is, we're trying to be like almost zero plastic. There are still some small details here and there, but
Right.
that. We're
Mhm.
currently still in the US, expanding to Europe now.
Mhm.
So that's going to be exciting too.
Mhm. And
um,
you make, this is all face stuff, but you make like body butters or balms and face masks and stuff like that as well too, right?
yeah, face mask. There's a honey mask. That's very very natural. So it's really like sticky like honey. So you kind of
Mhm.
have to get in there. Same thing with the body scrubs. Like we really put like nettle and things like that,
Okay.
like into your skin. But there's some stuff in there.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have a bath salt that I really love, and I was experimenting with it in the beginning. So it's for when you have your menstruation, you're on your period.
Oh, nice.
And it's perfect for like the first day because basically it works for like cramps, it works for PMS, and just I mean, if you're like me, I feel like I'm hit by a bus the first day on my period.
Mhm.
And if I do that, the first day I take a bath with those salts, it just
Mhm.
like changes the whole,
Tone
you
of
know,
how it's gonna go.
essential oils that are in it
Mhm.
balance the hormones as well. So it's like
Okay.
it's amazing. And in the beginning, when I like started reading about it and we started putting it together, I was like, oh well, okay. But then I tested it out and I was like, wow, I didn't even know it
Well,
worked
that's
well.
fun too. You get to be your own tester and try all your own products.
Exactly.
That's
No, so our
awesome.
whole idea is like really just I think we're trying to even skip anything that's synthetic because we
Okay.
really want to work with like mama nature
Right.
and yeah, it's like you're supposed to feel like a goddess when you open the
Which you
smells and
do.
you put it on.
You do, because they are
Exactly.
so beautiful and luxe.
Yeah, and I
And
think
we have,
our,
sorry. Go
no, I
ahead.
just said like our whole line is really just to honor Mama Earth and
Mhm.
um, yeah, the new world where we're
Right.
going to be soon, where all the products should be like this,
Right.
non-toxic.
Exactly. That's another direction we should all be moving in. And well, we have a little gift for everyone who is listening and who's watching. If you'd like to make a purchase from Urban Witches Beauty, you can use my coupon code, which is Urban Mermaid 15, and it's 15% off your purchase. It's just URBANMERMAID 15. And you can get 15% off your purchase at Urban Witches Beauty. And your website is what again?
www.urban-witches.com.
Okay. And what is your handle on Instagram for everyone? You can find her on Instagram as well.
So Instagram is at Urban Witches Beauty, and Facebook is just Urban Witches at Urban Witches.
Wonderful. Well, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in, everyone, and thank you, Aga, so much for joining me. It was a little bit hard since she's on the other side of the world, and we both of our kids wanted to act up a little bit in the beginning, but we made it happen. So,
Made it
thank you
happen.
so much for joining. And for everyone who's tuning in, I just want to remind you, you can find me on my website at www.erintheurbanmermaid.com. You can find me on Instagram at the same handle at Erin the Urban Mermaid. Or if you are on Apple iTunes or Spotify, you're listening to the hashtag Grounded in Glam, Modern Mystics and Motherhood podcast, or you are just here on my YouTube channel. So I want to say thank you very much. Thank you, Aga. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.